Alright, let's talk about the most viral race of the weekend. Ex-world champion, 6th equal fastest woman ever, Sha'Carri Richardson, destroying amateur Australians from behind in a grass field in the middle of nowhere.
Sha'Carri's running her down, it's so close!
For $40,000. And what sounds ridiculous has provided us with the purest representation of elite speed you'll ever get to see. I'd argue it's an even better example of Olympic speed than the Olympics, because when everyone's super,
no one will be.
And to not beat around the bush, all of Sha'Carri Richardson's races at Stawell were straight up sprint porn. Her top end reliant race style was perfect for the event. The moment she got into full swing and was flying upright at 50 to 60 meters, it was a slaughter. In her semi-final, shooting from last to first in the final 50 meters, reserving the last 10 meters of that to ease at the line.
Back, she's absolutely flying!
Finishing in 13.52 seconds, which based off the time meant she was entering the final as the 5th seed, but clearly, with her ease, more hidden in the tank. And the final would simply be repeat destruction. Halfway, last place, but it's as if she grows stronger with each step.
Running her down, it's so close! She's come from the clouds!
Taking home the win against athletes with head starts of up to 10 meters for $40,000 in a finalized time of 13.07 seconds. And while the spectacle itself was worth its weight in gold, what does 13.07 actually mean? Because frankly, when you bring up the personal best times of the rest of the field, maybe the stagger should have been a bit bigger. With this race, a lot of hype has surfaced. I've seen world record claims, speculation saying she split 11 seconds through the 100 meters using a split calculator. But a world record title falls flat when it's a distance only run here, and the split calculator is just too inaccurate, despite it probably being reasonably close. The best comparison we can get would be comparing her time to splits from 150 meter races or 200 meter races, which are a surprisingly scarce resource. TRP actually gave me the idea, so props to him, and he mentioned in his video that Sha'Carri was faster than Julian Alfred's 120 meter split in her fastest ever 200 meter at the London Diamond League of 21.71 seconds, in which she came through 120 meters at 13.18 seconds. Now, he does mention this is a tough comparison. Alfred might have the benefit of this synthetic track over grass, but she has a severe disadvantage running on the bend and slightly holding herself back because she does have to run an extra 80 meters. But to add to this further anyway, Sha'Carri Jackson in her third best 200 meter race, 21.48 seconds, which by the way is the 4th fastest 200 meter ever recorded, she split 13.03 seconds through 120 meters. So Sha'Carri on grass and at a slight incline sits somewhere between these. But overall, it's just not a fair comparison. And it's unfair for both sides, the conditions just differ too much. It's a real shame there wasn't an elite athlete who won this event from scratch only the year earlier. Last year, Australia's Brie Rizzo won the 2025 Stawell Gift all the way from the back with a powerful close in 13.52 seconds.
Comes with a run, and I reckon has come from nowhere and won.
What are the odds? 2 in a row. And comparing both athletes' adjusted finishing times, Richardson this year had Rizzo beat by a huge margin of 0.47 seconds. And now that we have this number, we can have some fun. Within 2 weeks after Rizzo's win, she ran at the Aussie Nationals, coming third in the women's 100 meter in a time of 11.25 seconds. And then ironically, only another week later, she raced against Sha'Carri Richardson herself in Tokyo and beat her in 11.38 seconds. So, here's our final answers. Firstly, Sha'Carri is in significantly better form than where she started last year, in which she still managed to squeak her way to the World Championships final and place 5th. And secondly, she's almost half a second faster than Brie Rizzo in the same conditions, who ran multiple 11.2 second times around the same time as her Stawell Gift win. Now that is absurd. Of course we can't get a precise number out of this, but if I was to take my best estimated guess, I would say Sha'Carri is in about high 10.8 form, because at the end of the day, with the unconventional circumstances of the Stawell Gift, we're all just guessing. But she does open her 100 meter season at the end of the month, so we'll find out soon enough. Regardless, all speculation points to right now, Sha'Carri Richardson is looking damn fast. But while she might have been the perfect athlete for this job, Christian Coleman, aka her boyfriend according to Olympic.com, was the complete polar opposite. Unlike Sha'Carri's lightning finish, you could make a compilation of Coleman absolutely tanking races in the final 30 meters. Okay, that's a bit mean. He is the fastest starter of all time, but how much can that matter when you add an extra 20 meters to the race? And as we all found out today, bugger all is how much.
We'll watch Coleman early, he got out faster.
He made up a good amount of stagger through the first 80 meters of his semi-final, but from that point on, arguably, he stagnates. Now I'm not just going to sandbag the man. Sha'Carri does that enough for us. He's missed Team USA the last couple years, but looking at times, he's never had a bad year since 2017. But having followed the sport for a while now, the moment he was announced to run at Stawell, I did immediately think, just how hard would he decelerate in the closing stages? And my goodness was it pretty bad. But just seeing it wasn't enough. I wanted to get some defining numbers, so I looked up his competitors, and I got more LinkedIn profiles than World Athletic pages. Although I did find Barnabas Ronto, the athlete in the white next to him, and he had a certified 100 meter PR of 10.94 seconds. Sadly, I couldn't find the rest. I did see a 22 flat 200 and a 48 second 400, so these guys are amateur fast. But yeah, that's it. Coleman has the finishing speed of a 10.9 guy after 100 meters. And that wasn't even the worst of it. There was also an exhibition race where he ran on tired legs and straight up did not make up the stagger on any of these guys. To be fair, they were the fastest seeded athletes who got eliminated early. Now, it is all fun and games to make fun of Coleman's deceleration, but may I remind you of his PRs. The grass suits some athletes and destroys others. But hey, huge appreciation to him coming out to Oz and trying something fun and cool like this. I'll be very interested to see how his 100 meter opens up. And obviously I can't just ignore everything else for the week. The women's 200 meter has been getting real spicy behind the scenes this year. But just to preface this, I want to remind you of last year's World Championship 200 meter final. Besides Melissa Jefferson, it was a weak showing. And keep in mind 22.141 silver. At the Carifta Games this weekend, 18-year-old Sha'Carri Douglas hit the track again, sleeping in the blocks, but winning the under 20 100 meter in 11.18 seconds into a headwind.
It's Sha'Carri Douglas away from the field, east on the outside as well.
And when she came back 2 days later for the 200 meter final, her 7th race of these championships, she committed a straight up war crime on these other girls.
Douglas, she gets up well, already covering her teammate Natrice East. The battle will be on for the minor placing. It is Sha'Carri Douglas of Jamaica.
This gap speaks for itself. 22.11 seconds, fast enough for a silver at last year in Tokyo, and it's now the third equal fastest under 20 200 meter time in history, equal with Allyson Felix of all people. Only last week, I speculated she might run this fast given a neutral wind, but the tailwind was pretty hefty, which is fair since over the last 2 weeks, she's run on average 6.5 races per weekend. Give her some rest, who knows what we'll see. But the 200 meter hype doesn't stop there. Shanae Miller-Yubo ran a 22.49 after being basically absent for the last 3 years. For those that don't know, she's a double Olympic gold medalist and world champion in the 400 meter, who's been absent the last few years from some injuries and having a child. Now she's back, throwing down 22.4s upon return and looking to focus on the 200. And this same weekend, we also saw Gabby Thomas out in Texas. She's back after some Achilles issues last year, running her umpteenth 11 flat time as her season opener, which is honestly about her usual. She always opens up about this fast. But as an overarching view of this whole 200 meter situation, Gabby Thomas, the 200 meter Olympic champ, is back in form again. Elaine Thompson-Herah, the second fastest in history, has made her return clear. Miller-Yubo, one of the greatest female 400 meter athletes, is back and running the 200. Then there's also Julian Alfred, Sharika Jackson and Melissa Jefferson who are healthy and looking to continue from last season. And on top of all of that, now we have an 18-year-old prodigy matching Allyson Felix's under 20 200 meter record bar for bar. And she's looking in a position to go even faster soon. That's 5 of the fastest 200 meter women ever getting back into it, plus Miller-Yubo and Allyson Felix reincarnated. Then you throw a fast Sha'Carri Richardson into the mix, the women's 200 meter is going to be utterly insane this year. And that was the week in my eyes. Let me know what you think. Is Sha'Carri really in good form? Is the women's 200 meter going to flop again this year? See y'all next time.